Hello, Knockouts. Tanya TKO here, and I am a self-love specialist from TanyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments about what self-love looks like in our own lives. So today, we're going to be talking about Kirk Franklin and his son and this audio which has gone viral. I've not listened to the audio yet. I wanted to listen to it for the first time with you all. So we're going to do that here live on this channel. It is, from what it is that I've been told, the unedited audio so that you can hear all of the words that he used. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get into that in just a moment because I see that YouTube is letting you all in the building. So come on in. If you'd like to be a part of the live show, make sure that you come over to youtube.com/Tanya TKO. This is where we film the live shows like this, where we have the comments on the screens, etc. And then we upload it to other platforms. So right now we are live on YouTube and Twitter Periscope, and this will be uploaded for a live premiere on Facebook. So if you're seeing it on any one of these platforms or you're not on one of the other platforms, make sure that you subscribe to the other platforms. And for me, you know that I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a certified life coach with a specialty in relationship coaching. And if you'd like to contact me or send me leads, you can always do that at TanyaTKO.com and then click on contact, or you could go to TanyaTKO.com/contact. All right, so if you all are ready to jump into this, I am too. So let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have. Okay, so this is supposedly the audio. Let's take a listen. It's only 46 seconds. Make sure the volume's up. Okay, come on.
Okay, if you think I'm ready for this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts disrespecting, then get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old.
I will break your neck, nigga, if you ever disrespect me. I did it.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Hold on. This looks like there's some more after that.
He just hung up the phone.
Oh, wow. I guess we could listen to that again in case we didn't get it the first time.
A piece of paper. Okay, if you think I'm ready for this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts disrespecting, then get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old.
What's up? I will break your neck, nigga, if you ever disrespect me. I did it.
Wow. That's a lot.
He just hung up the phone. I'll break your neck. Is that a threat?
Wow, we didn't hear that the first time. Wow. Well, you know what? Listen, let's take everything into account. We're going to listen to his apology next, but that was something. I'm going to say this just from what it is that I've heard so far. That type of back and forth does not begin right there. The breakdown in respect and communication happened long before there. So that right there that we just heard, listen, let's continue going forward. Let's listen to his his apology. Wow. Oh, darn it. I got to add that again because I didn't add the audio in. That has me stunned. Okay, let's continue. I think I just closed the window. I didn't mean to close the window. I just got to do, I got to get the window back. But where is the link? Let's see. I think it should be here. Nope, that's not the link. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I closed the window with the link. All right, I got it back. Give me 1 second. I just have to pull it up into the video. That just had me stunned right there. I'm sorry. That was not okay. On both sides, that was not okay. But we'll talk about it after we hear the apology. So as you all see, we're on some web page. This is unbelievable. That just disturbed my whole being. All right, Kirk Franklin apologizes after verbal altercation with son. All right, Kirk Franklin took to social media March 13th to apologize to fans and general public. He continued recently. All right, so we'll just watch the video, right? Because it seems like that is here. So we'll just watch that. He looks so sad in his video. Let's see.
Many of you know I have an older son named Kerryon Franklin. In May, he'll be 33. For many years, we have had a toxic relationship with him as a family. We've tried for many years through counseling, through therapy, to try to rectify this private family matter. Recently, my son and I had an argument that he chose to record. I felt extremely disrespected in that conversation, and I lost my temper. And I said words that are not appropriate. And I am sincerely sorry to all of you. I sincerely apologize. I want you to know as a father that during that conversation, I called the family therapist and got that therapist on the phone to try to help. He never played that part of the recording. I'm not perfect. I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes and I'm trying to get it right. Please keep me and my family in your prayers.
That's interesting. That is interesting. I don't know now. I don't know. Is there anything else? Oh, yes, there is something else. There is. So we have the Oprah clip of him saying that he was a sex addict or addicted to porn, etc. So let's pull that up real quick because you all have been telling me that he has been non-perfect for years. Let's see. Let's see what we can find over here. So let's bring this. I'm losing my thing is. Give me 1 second. Let me just get this link inside here. What are your thoughts so far? I think that this is. All right. So we're going to go to the Oprah clip and see what we can see over here. I don't see the clip. Oh, here it is. It's way down in another tab. All right, so here we go. So this is Kirk Franklin. Let's see what year this is. I don't see a year on here. It says he and his wife of 9 years, Tammy, are the parents of 4 beautiful children. 4 years ago, however, Kirk Franklin was hiding dark obsessions from his family and friends. Oh, look at his face, y'all. Oh, my gracious. I don't understand. It makes me wonder what type of porn he's watching, whether or not it's hetero or what, because let's see, is there a video in here? It doesn't look like there's a video. It just talks about this porn addiction and all this, and then it has a whole bunch of people. I thought this was the video because somebody sent me the link, but that is not the video. So let's we have another link that was sent to us. So let's take a look at this other link. And it says, porn addiction, Kirk Franklin. Let's take a look and see what this has in it. All right, so this is a video. So now let's pull this into the screen. Give me 1 second. This is unbelievable. All right. All right, you all ready? Let's see what we have here. I don't hear anything.
Appreciate you, E. So I've titled this, Are You Walking in Your Purpose? And I have some scripture to back this up. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are
come on. Where's the Kirk Franklin part?
Purpose.
Where's Kirk Franklin? Come on. Let's get to that.
I have seen enough, read enough, saw enough.
Come on. It's like, come on. This is not, don't tell us you have a video if that's not the video that we want to see. It says, Tammy Franklin's reaction to Kirk Franklin's addiction. It's like, come on. Did this video have the clip in it or not? And Mr. Griffin, are you walking in your purpose? That's not what we came here to see. All right, so here we got the Tammy one. So let's see.
It really wasn't until my first year of marriage, I was 26 years old, when I sat down with my wife and told her, I said, hey, you're my best friend, and I want to talk to you about something. I said, because I think I have an issue with something.
And so, of course, you know, my antenna is like, hi, what's he been hiding? And he said, you know, it started when I was young, and it is carried over into my adulthood. I thought that marriage was going to fix it, but it hasn't. And he said, I am addicted to pornography.
I mean, she was loving and supportive, and she was proud of the fact that, you know, like my stories have been stories that I've told.
There were times where I needed to be honest with him, and let him know if something was making me disappointed. And that took me a minute because, you know, I think as a wife, you want to be supportive, and that's just kind of it. But also being supportive is being honest.
The lack of love.
Is he really being honest? Look at him.
Really, really made me run to girls.
Girls?
Really what I was looking for was really love. But because you got these deep issues that you were abandoned by the woman that should have held you the right way and embraced you the right way and to tell you that you're good and that you're something special, you go all over the place looking for it.
I guess that was the Oprah one there. I don't understand this. Okay. Oh, goodness. Let's talk about it. So this is what I know, right? This is what I know. One, the son that he was arguing with, this is what I found out from someone who knows the Franklin family. The son is his first son from a previous relationship. However, when he got married, he brought the boy into the relationship. So he has a different mother than the mother that you see right there. And so that's a factor right there. That's one factor, that there's another mother involved. There's another part of a home which exists in another home. So could that be part of the reason? Because I was in a Clubhouse group yesterday, and in the Clubhouse room, they were pretty much saying that the relationship that you see between them seems like the relationship of a child that was born outside of the immediate marriage. That's one. And then so two, I mean, how, I'm going to say this, right? Okay. Yes, we lose our temper. The one thing that you did not see him apologizing to in that video, Kirk Franklin did not apologize to his son. He apologized to the public for having to hear what went down between his son. He also placed the onus on his son recording the altercation. He says he lost his temper and said some things he shouldn't have said. He never said that those are things that he doesn't typically say. You know, he said he was going to break his son's neck. He called him a BAN. He said he was going to put his foot in his behind and all types of stuff. And when does the communication turn like that? And it's like, you know what? In the book, why does he do that? You know what? I see you all saying that it's about the money. It's not our business. Didn't his son curse at him? Yes, they have gaslighted Kerryon and treat him like the black sheep. I mean, do I need to turn on the phone line so that you all can call in and weigh in? I can take a few phone calls because I want this video to be relatively short. But I'm like, in the book, Why Does He Do That? By Barcroft Lundy. It's a book about abusive men and the ways that they show up. And in the book, he states that at some point, a man gives himself permission to let loose and let free his rage, his animus, his animosity, his vitriol, his violence, his verbal violence, that he gives himself permission to set free and let go, right? Now, he says he lost his temper. That's his child still. That's still his child. And if your child is cursing at you, you have many choices, right? First of all, the relationship. So listen, right? His son is 33. Okay. A lot of people have issues with their children. Once they become teenagers, something happens in a child's mind and they just go cuckoo. They go loco. And the little sweet, loving, doe-eyed child that used to look up at you with batting, loving eyes just turns into this little demon seed walking around your house. This is something different. This is not a teenager. This is a man talking to another man, right? This man happens to be his son, his firstborn son at that. At some place inside of Kirk Franklin, he gave himself permission to let loose and cuss his son down for the ages. Call him all of these different names and talk about and threatening him with violence and breaking his neck and all this other stuff. At some point, if you know that you have a toxic relationship with a person, why get roped in? Who is the adult here? Who is the leader, the father or the child? I'm gonna open up the phone line so that you all can call in. And let's get this started right now because I want to hear some of your points of view. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to get the phone lines open. So give me one moment. Let me just pull this up and then get the audio connected because I want to hear your points of view because I only have my point of view. And my point of view is that somewhere along the line, Kirk Franklin gave himself permission to behave this way. And I find that a lot of Black people condone abuse, physical and verbal. And I'm not really sure why we continue to do this, why we continue to perpetuate it. And it's like, we act like our children are burdens to us, burdens that we didn't help create. We act like our children are these things that come into our lives and we don't know how they got here or why they're here. And it's like you participated in actions that brought them here. Give me 1 second. I'm about to bring the phone lines up. Okay. Okay, and phone lines are open. The telephone number to call in is 323-488-3149. I'll scroll it down at the bottom. Give me one moment. I'll get that up. And some of you are asking what the Cash App is. So there's the Cash App. It's $ Tanya TKO. And that is up. I want to hear your points of view about this because my point of view is this didn't begin there on the phone. It started long before this. Give me 1 second. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
My name is Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. So what is your comment about this whole situation?
Yeah, so basically I wanted to say as parents, because I'm a parent, I'm a mom, and I can admit in the Black community, there are issues about, like you said, promoting physical abuse, verbal abuse, and it's a normalcy in our community. Like I have a 19-year-old and I also have a 5-year-old, so I have a huge gap. When I was 21 with my firstborn, the way I handled things was totally different from the way I handle things now. Now, granted, I still do deal with some generational curses as far as like, telling your child, oh, you do what the F I said, this and this. I'll be straight up. You know, I have been there. I understand it, but it does need to be addressed. Listening to the call from the young man, I'm not gonna lie. My first impression was he sound like a B, you know, and but I can be honest about that. But I
Who
don't
sound
want
like
to
a B?
discount
The
his.
son?
Yeah.
Was there more
It's a
to the
part of it.
audio? Because I didn't hear any more than what I played.
Yeah, it was more to the audio, but he didn't put that out. Over the years, there have been issues between the both of them, and I think it is a huge issue with him being born on the outside, because I was looking at his posts, and a lot of his posts were things like, you know, him not having been with the immediate family to take pictures and stuff like that. So I really don't want to discount his experience, because there is some trauma involved, you know? So it's like, it's not about taking sides. It's about acknowledging. If you acknowledge you've been a parent that has been out of control, which I have acknowledged, then you're crucified for being a bad parent. But this is something that has to be addressed. You mentioned a book earlier, and I wanted to mention a book. Have you ever heard of the one called Mean Mothers?
No.
Okay, well, that's a book dealing with the same thing. You know, we pass these things on, and yes, they have to be addressed, but it's not about, you know, kicking the son to the curb, kicking Kirk to the curb. It's about being open and transparent. Like, that's the only way we can deal with stuff.
Okay.
I've been that parent, and so
that parent that has been cursing out your child.
Yeah.
You've cursed out your 19-year-old.
Yes.
How old was your 19-year-old when you were cursing him out?
To be honest with you, it went back to when he was elementary, not to that level, but me just using, like, you know, profanity and stuff like that. It was a normalcy for me. And I'm not saying it's okay by any means, because honestly, to this day, it breaks my heart when I think about, and I'm getting emotional. I didn't even plan to get emotional, but when I think about the way I have harmed my child with words, it's hurtful. And to me, it takes a lifetime to repair that shit. Like, you have to invest a lifetime. So even if he's 33, I don't know their backstory. You understand what I'm saying? But if there has been trauma, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your child to work diligently to bring as much healing as possible. You can't reclaim those days, but you can bring as much healing as you can. So honestly, I feel like in the Black community, we contribute to a lot of issues just by the way we parent, you know.
Right.
And I see a lot in the comment section, oh, we need to, you know, they don't have kids, and get parenting classes. I mean, we could go back and forth all day, but yes, we need to learn how to be better parents.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about no other people outside our community right now, because I can't relate. But us as Black folks, we got to do better. Because even me and my son, we saw a video on Instagram the other day, and it was like a clip of this man getting ready to eat some applesauce.
Okay.
And the boy reached for the applesauce, and he was like, the little boy was all excited, like, oh, I want applesauce. And the man was like, damn, nigga, move, or something like that, you know? Excuse me, you know, if I'm offending folks. But me and him was laughing. But it's a constant reminder how we have normalized this type of behavior in our community, because him and I was laughing. And then right after that, he was like, it's funny, but I ain't gonna lie, it is abuse. And I say, yeah, you're right, it is. I say, but this is, and me and him talk about things like that, you know? But he does struggle. You know, I live in the Southwest. I'm in New Mexico, and ain't a lot of chocolate folks where I live.
Yeah.
At any rate, you know, that was a whole nother battle with him, because
well, you know what? Let's wrap up the phone call so that we could take another person.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Problem. Thank you so much for your time, Tanya. I love you guys.
I was gonna let you finish that thought if you could, just very quickly.
I was just gonna say, you know, him being in a community where he's one of the few Black boys, he already had to deal with a different set of challenges, you know, that, you know, automatic put him on medication. Oh, he got this, he got that. He does have learning disabilities, but at the end of the day, my son is 19 now, and he's about 6'3", 6'4", and he's about 280 pounds. So at the end of the day, my child was judged a lot simply because he was big and Black. You feel me? So me on top of that, you know, my baby got struggles. And so I try to love on him as much as I can, but I can say it does affect kids. So anybody listening, man, tighten up. and do better with your kids. We have to nurture them and love
So
on
let me
them.
ask you a question. What is it that you have done to stop cursing your son out now?
Oh, I got a potty mouth.
Oh, you still have a potty mouth?
Yeah, but it's not with that level of anger. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's like, boy, just get out my face and go some damn well. Cause he like to aggravate me on purpose. He got some ODD, so he like to trigger me, and he think it's funny. But that's my personal issue. And like I told him before, the issues I have with my temper are mine alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even though
So what have you done? Have you gotten therapy?
Yes, ma'am. I've been in therapy for the last 5 years. No, honestly, it's been like 7 years.
And has it helped with your anger?
Yes, ma'am. I have done cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
I've done DMT, EMDR.
Have you really?
Listen, I'm open. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's some advanced stuff with the EMDR.
Yeah, I'm originally from Miami. I moved out here in 2009, and I said I wanted to be happy. I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew I had to start somewhere.
And how has the relationship? How has the relationship with your son changed since you've gone to therapy?
Him and I have always been open and been able to talk to one another, and it's still, he's very introverted. And I think he deals with social anxiety.
How has because we have limited time. How has your relationship changed since going to therapy with your son?
Okay. Well, he still refuses to go to therapy, but him and I still have dialogue here and there, but he's not in a place where he wants to talk to anyone. So I've had to let that go and realize that that's his walk, but I'm always here to try to support him in anything he's trying to do.
The question is, how has your relationship changed with your son since you going to therapy? And then I'm going to ask you a quick question after that. Go ahead.
I'm less triggered. I apologize. I'm less triggered, but you see, I got alphabets too. I got ADD, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm less triggered in dealing with him. I'm a lot more patient.
And then,
I'm able to listen.
Okay, so hold on. You said that you've been in therapy for 7 years, meaning your son was 12 at the time. Why did he have a choice not to go to therapy at the age of 12?
Well, at the age of 12, he did. Well, at the age of 12, I still wasn't in a place where I was fully open to the whole process. But I did have him like checked out at school, with evaluations for learning disabilities, because he has been high maintenance for a long time in school. So honestly, from kindergarten, my child has struggled in school. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
Okay, so between the ages of 12 and 19, so he lives with you now?
Yes, he's still home.
He lives with you and he is refusing to go to therapy, and
Honestly, I don't know how to deal with it. So if there's anybody out there who got suggestions, I'm open.
What is your name in the comments so people will know how to reach out to you?
Just Jay, and it's like a flower on there. So yeah, I'm
okay.
Okay.
Because listen, the time to have gotten him in there was when he was small. Because now he's a big grown 6'3", 280-pound young man. I don't know how you're going to get him in there now, but if there's somebody who knows.
It was a struggle then. He started when he probably was around maybe like 14, 15, but it was never, we started about 14, 15. No, honestly, you know what? I got the papers. I started when he was probably about 13, 14.
Okay.
And so it worked. And I mean, we tried the EMDR and everything. I'm on the phone, babe. We tried EMDR and everything, but he just was never open to it.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to let people in the comments who have better suggestions, because
for sure,
I know there's some leverage you have with him living with you, but I don't know how to play it because that's your child and you know him better than we do. So,
right. And he's stubborn as ever. So,
well, I mean, he's big now. So thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, and the little baby in the background was like, bye-bye. So listen, if there's anybody out there who could help Just Jay figure out how to get her 19-year-old into therapy now, that I don't know. So the phone lines are open. We are discussing Kirk Franklin. We're going to take 2 more phone calls. And then, so if you have something that you want to say, that you want to add to the topic on this verbal violence in our homes, I think that the way Kirk Franklin spoke to his child was not okay. I feel like your child is still a person that you have a relationship with, and this is a person who exists outside of you. And I don't think that the way that he spoke to his child is okay. I do feel that if this is a one-time thing, Give me just one moment. Let me finish up my thought and then I'll grab your call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, if this was a one-time thing and he lost his temper in that one moment, and as long as he's willing to look within himself and see what is it that he can do differently, because we all do have choices. The choice doesn't have to be to curse a person down and threaten physical harm on them. If this is something that is ongoing in his life and not just that one thing, even that one time losing control like that, I have a feeling that the son started recording him because this wasn't a one-time thing. And so if he knows that he has anger management issues, temper issues, there are things that he needs to do to make sure that he is treating another human being, another one of God's children. You know, it's like this man is a Christian. On top of everything else, he is a Christian. And I think that's why people are coming at him so hard, because at the end of the day, this is one of God's children. This is not just your child, but this is one of God's children on the earth. What is it that you can do as a human being to make sure that you are treating one of God's children, even when that relationship is toxic, with the utmost respect that God, him or herself, would treat that person with? And there was somebody in the audience that says we've all been cussed out by our parents. That is a negative right there. That is a negative. And I don't know if part of the reason that I sit here as a self-love specialist is because my self-love has never been torn down in that way. Like, even to this day, I can't imagine the type of hurt that I would feel if my father opened up his mouth to start calling me names. How could I expect any man out there in the street not to, if my own father is calling me names? And then as a woman, what type of relationship would I have with women if my mother cursed me out? My mother, God rest her soul, as some of you folks say, my mother has never opened up her mouth to cuss me down. My father has never cursed me out. I have never been called a bee by my parents. I do not allow my friends to call me bees. And I don't even allow people in the comments. We don't talk to one another like that in the comments. I run a Facebook page of 800,000 people. And I block people on the page who do not know how to attack the argument, but attack people. This is the standard from whence, because the foundation has already been set. So there are ways to not. And I have also helped raise a child, and we don't curse. And you know what? Your children will be your greatest teachers, because children are so sensitive and they're so loving. And we did not, as a matter of fact, when we were raising this young one, we implemented timeouts instead of physical abuse for punishment, instead of violence. We decided to go a different way because there was violence in my home when we grew up, and we decided to go a different way. And I'm glad that we did, because we have raised a sensitive, beautiful, even-tempered, mature, emotionally stable, emotionally intelligent young woman who does her thing. Yes, she had some, when she became 13 and became a teenager, there was some rocky moments there that you're like, who is this person? But we remembered who we were. Even if that child is a little lost, you got to remember who you are. So we remembered who we were and we acted accordingly. So let's continue. Let's take the caller and see what she has to say. Welcome in, caller. Please turn down your TV or whatnot in the background, and talk to me on the phone. What's your name?
Okay. Hi, I'm Christina Fielder.
Hi, Christina. What's your name in the comments so people will know who you are?
Christina Fielder.
Oh, it's Christina Fielder in the comments? Okay, perfect. So what is your comment about this whole situation?
Well, I think that Kirk Franklin, we're starting in the middle of the conversation.
Hold on. I'm sorry, hold on. I just need to respond to this real quick. Pink says every child don't need to be cursed out. No child needs to be cursed out. There's another way. No child needs. Listen to the word needs. No child needs to be cursed out. And I think that we have to start looking inside of ourselves to figure out why we feel any human needs to be cursed out. All right. Some people get cussed out, but not, maybe they, because I cuss people out myself. Go ahead, my dear.
Sure. No, I also wanted to start with saying that I've been watching you for a very long time, and we don't always agree, but I do respect your opinion on things, and I appreciate the dialogue.
Okay, hold on. Hold that thought real quick. I just have to address Will, who says, oh Lord, the timeouts don't work, spare the rod, spoil the child. No. And then also there's a lot of different interpretations for that whole spare the rod, where they say that it's like the rod of steering sheep, not being violent towards a little person. No, timeouts do work. Start them when the child is early. Like this woman now has this big 280-pound, 6 foot something young man in her home wanting to get him into therapy. That's not the time to start timeouts. You start timeouts when they're little. Go watch Nanny 911. Go watch these shows and learn the proper way to do timeouts, because they do work. And it's a lot more satisfying, because what is the end? If you use violence to get your child in line, there's only but so much violence you can enact on them before you kill them. So what is the end with the violence? So you as a parent need to make things easier on yourself to be able to get your child to listen to you without the threat of violence, because when there's no threat of violence, then you have your child cursing you out at 33 years old. Anyway, let's go forward. I'm sorry. I'm not going to read out the comments anymore, but I felt like some things needed to be addressed in a moment. Please go ahead, Fielder.
Sure. So, no, I think that we're starting in the middle of all of this that's happening. And without having a full view of what exactly prompted the conversation, it's kind of hard to say, who's wrong and who's not, because we are outsiders looking in. We don't know what the son said before he started recording. We don't know what he did to his dad. Now, what I will say is the threatening, we got to stop that as Black people. My mom was a Christian, and she went off on me before, and she used cursed words towards me, but she's never called me names. She never actually cursed me out. And any time that she actually did put her hands on me, like anytime I actually got a whooping, it was for a good reason, and I understood why. And so
I'm sorry. Hold on for just one moment. I need to address something. Prozac is saying if a child, or Percocet, I guess that's Percocets and Prozacs mixed together. If a child plays up, they must be put in their place. What is a child's place? And how do you put them in their place with violence? It's like a child is still a human being outside of you. What place do you feel that you need to stomp them into? I'm sorry, we have some issues. That's slave
mentality.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
That's slave mentality, Percocet. But I don't think that you have to beat anybody into listening to you. Anytime that I do go off, or anytime that I do whip my kids, they know exactly why they're being whipped. I make sure that they understand. And they have to be at an age where they know right from wrong and choose to do wrong. So the threat, all of that, I think is very damaging to children. However, we can't automatically write off Kirk Franklin because we don't know what happened before this conversation. His son is a grown ass man, excuse my language, but he's a grown man. He wasn't talking to an 8-year-old.
He was still talking to another human being. If we heard Kirk Franklin talking to somebody at the grocery store like that, we would raise our eyebrows. So okay. So let's understand how it's okay because of his age.
Well, I'm not saying that it's okay. What I'm saying is that we don't have the full story to form an opinion. So if someone threatens me, I'm probably going to threaten them back. If your
child threatens you, your child is 33 and your child threatens you. So let me ask you a question. And see, this is where it comes in. So the person that you carried in your body, who you put into this world, if they're 33 years old and they say, Mom, I'm going to F you up, all of a sudden you just snap and you're like, I'm going to F you up, you BAN and just a but. I mean, at some point you have to realize this is my child. And a lot of us do have hidden anger and contempt for our children. So at what point do we remember this is our child that's talking?
I don't talk to my kids like that, though. So, I think my situation is a little different. My kids grew up in a 2-parent household, so we don't usually have to do all of that with them. It's just how they are. Kids are different, and some kids respond to certain things and some kids don't. I do not agree that you should threaten your kid that you're going to strangle them or pop their neck or anything like that. That is a lot. But if I'm talking about any other adult, if they were to threaten me, I'm going to threaten them back. With my kids, I don't think that I would be ready to fight my daughter, even if she is a grown woman, honestly. And I wouldn't I wouldn't threaten her that I'm going to do certain things to her, because I already know that that's not, I know and she knows that that's not how we rock.
Yeah, I need to address something else. Dina says, Tanya, if you had a kid who you sacrificed for 33, say F you, I doubt you'd be talking like this. You know, like I said, that disrespect didn't start on that phone call. A child just doesn't listen, Dina. Let's talk about that real quick. A child just doesn't come out of nowhere and say F you to their parent. This started long before that. If you have a 33-year-old, like for example, like kids are suffering during this pandemic. They are suffering during this pandemic. And I don't want to say too much, but I will say this. If there is a young person who has been under your care or guardianship, who out of the blue snaps on you, if your first response is to curse them out or F them up, something is the matter with you. If they snap on you out of the blue, where's the compassion for the fact that maybe they bumped their head, maybe something the hell is going on inside of them, maybe they're having a mental health crisis in the moment. Where is the compassion inside of you? So I'm going to tell you now, if the person who I help raise 10 years from now decided to come out of the blue and be like, F you, my first response would not be to be like, well, F you and your mother, break your neck. No, that wouldn't be my first response. I would be shocked. I'd be stunned. I'd be hurt. I'd want to know where this is coming from and what's going on. You see, one of the things that happens when you put your child in timeout is that you yourself learn how to deal with adversity, conflict, and how to talk things out without snapping into violence yourself. Do you have control of yourself? Do you have good control of your own faculties? I'll let you go ahead and finish up the phone call. What's the rest that you wanted to say?
Oh, no, I just really wanted to call and comment in. I didn't really have anything direct that I would have to say, but I will say that Black people do need to do better on the way that we behave in front of our children, because your children become adults and they're going to replicate what they see. They're going to replicate, if they're in a one-parent household and you have different guys coming in and out all the time, that's what they're going to replicate. If you demean them and always want to fight them, well, they think that you want to fight them by the way that you talk to them. That is how they're going to behave in the real world. So we have to take account to that and take responsibility and accountability for that. Because it doesn't come out of nowhere.
Okay. Well, I feel like you're repeating some of my points right now. I hope I did not influence you on the phone, but thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Okay. So, and Tam is completely right. Your child comes out and starts cussing you out of nowhere. And if your first response is to want to beat them up, something is going on. And see, part of the issue is that we come into parenting with all of the flaws and the things that we have going on inside of us. Do we have control of our own tempers enough to be able to control ourselves with our children? You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Rashonda. Hey, y'all. I made it on the air.
Hey, Rashonda.
I'll be really quick. You can't raise your child when they're 33. You have to do it when they're young, a baby. And if you cannot figure out a way other than hitting your child to get them what you want to do, then you may have not have been ready to be a parent. It's the truth.
What can a parent do to change their ways?
If we're talking about somebody 33 or somebody just young or whatever, you need to enforce what you're telling them, not by hitting them. So if I say don't do this, or I'm going to take away this, then that means I'm going to take away that for whatever time I said I was going to do it. But that doesn't mean that 2 minutes later you get it back. You can't teach them something and go back on what you're doing just because it's good for you at the time. So if your child is being raised by a PlayStation every day, all day,
why are you
then
saying
they are going to look at you.
How the
They're going to look at
PlayStation?
you.
How a PlayStation is raising a child?
If you go to work and you leave your child at home with the PlayStation, it's raising your child. So then when you come back and tell them to turn their daddy off, they're going to have a problem with that.
I'm going to give you a beating. They turn their daddy off. You know something?
Yes. What are they supposed to do? They're going to tell you, hold on. My daddy is talking to me.
You know something? What? Get off my line. Get off my line now, doggone it. Oh, I was joking. I wasn't meaning. I did not mean that. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But okay. That was funny though. That was funny. I didn't mean get off my line. I was just saying, you know, get out of here with that. I'm sorry. I did not mean it like that. Okay, so phone lines are open. I'm going to take another phone call or two and kind of get to the other side of this. Oh, it's not answering. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Connie.
Hey, that's what people think I'm saying my name is when I call into customer service. They think I'm saying Connie. They're like, what's your name? I say Tanya. They say Connie?
Connie. Yeah, Connie.
Do people ever think that you're saying Tanya when you say your name on customer service?
Yes.
They think you're saying.
People do think that.
How interesting. So you're my name nemesis. All right, Connie, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say.
And it's K-H-A-N-I.
So. Oh, is this the young lady that heckles me in the audience?
Yes, that you helped me.
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm. That you were heckling me this morning, telling me that I need to take compliments that I don't want to take. That's you.
I learned a new thing from you today, okay? I don't want that either.
You were so funny. You're so funny. Okay, Connie. So welcome. It's so nice to put a voice to the name.
Yes, you too. You are, first of all, let me just say, you are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
And so innovative. My gosh, you're like the sun. Okay, that's the biggest compliment I could give you. You are like the sun in the sky.
Thank you.
Healing, loving, and nurturing everything we need.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, sure. Thank you. Okay, so what is your comment about this whole Kirk Franklin boondoggle?
Okay, let me just two things. First of all, it's like with Kirk Franklin, he lives like what I call a church facade. It's like a way that he puts on because he's in church. And because of that, like, he's not allowed to publicly curse and things like that. So I know for years when he used to make songs, he had a different sound that was like a little out of the traditional gospel music, and people used to make jokes like, Kirk Franklin's going to mess up and curse one of these days in his songs. So, like now here he is actually saying profanity, but, for a different reason. I don't think personally he should have went off on his son like that. I think he completely forgot that he's the father and that's the son. And if his son had to record it, there was something going on that it's like, I'm going to need receipts one day and I'm going to keep recording this so I can use it. I'm not there. I don't really know both sides of the story, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for, there's more. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like one thing is like, for me, I do have a child too. So like when my child was a little boy, and he's not that grown now, but when he was little, I would always say to him, how could someone intelligent like you do something like this? Like I would turn it around. Yes, I was upset, but I turned my upset into positive. So he's hearing me say positive things to him and not negative things to him. So that way, he knows that it's love coming there. So it made him think. And he would naturally come, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't have to beg or anything. And we were friends at the end of it. It's like, we were fine. There was no hard feelings, no nothing. But I think, parents always need to remember that they are the parents. And it doesn't mean, well, I'm the parent, do what I say. No, because
this is another individual who has their own way of thinking, mind, whatever, and you're in charge of how they come up. So put the good things in them that you want to see come out of them when they're older.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
All right, so we've had many different points of view. I want to hear from somebody who agrees with Kirk Franklin or who sympathizes with him, because most of the callers, I think, are calling in and feel the freedom to call in because of my own stance. But I want to hear from somebody who feels differently. So the phone lines are open. I want to hear from somebody who is on the opposite point of view. We want to hear why you feel that that's okay. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Terry.
Hi, Terry. Do you agree with how Kirk Franklin handled it?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
so let's hear your reason why.
Okay. Now, I know everybody ain't gonna agree, but I do. Personally, I have dealt with this myself.
Mm-hmm.
With my own daughter, who is 17 years old. And one day I caught her trying to choke my mother, who is 61 years old. I literally heard it. I was approaching the house. I had dropped my daughter off there, and I was approaching the house trying to get the key through the door. And I heard a whole bunch of cussing and screaming. I didn't know who. When I opened the door open, they were literally fist fight. Like, my daughter is, she's about 5'10". My mom's about 5'7". So they were fist fighting, like two grown people. But this is a child. I immediately broke it up, and I broke it up, and I separated them. I put my daughter in one room, and I went to the other room. I told my mother I needed to speak with her first as the adult. I agree with putting a child in line. You can lose, as people say, quote unquote, lose your religion. No, you should not ever lose your religion, but still, as a parent, it can bring you to the brink when you're dealing with children who have different needs. And when I say different needs, my daughter has some mental things that are going on.
Okay.
You know, some mental things, depression, anxiety, things like that, some other stuff. And she is, she has a doctor. She goes to therapy.
So is your child, so you said she has depression, anxiety, and is she bipolar? What are some of the other mental things that will cause her to lash out like this?
Right. Well, the doctor does believe that she does have bipolar, but she has not given her that diagnosis yet because, she is still growing.
Okay.
And, when they are in those certain age groups, things can change, things can get worse. They could go from that schizophrenia, so example. So that's why she does have those two diagnoses. But of course, with common sense, and I myself battle with bipolar and depression.
Okay.
So I can see it where I can tell there's something else going on.
Okay, so where's the part where you agree with Kirk Franklin, and in what capacity?
In the beginning, when we first started having these issues, me and my daughter,
mm-hmm.
I found myself, blowing up and losing it, like how he did. And cussing, bad. And also I'll be more transparent. I'm a believer also. I am a believer. I am a Christian. And that's how I run my household. But also, all the cuss words, I brought you in, I'll take you MFing out. I found myself saying those type of things, and it didn't sit right with me. I knew that was wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say.
Where's the part where you agree with Kirk Franklin? Because that's what you were calling in about, right?
lose it. That's what I am saying.
Okay.
I can agree how that quickly you can go from, to calling them and, I'm trying to talk to you. Will you shut the hell up? I see how a person can lose it sometimes when you are.
So how did that the story that you told about you walking into your 16-year-old daughter choking your 61-year-old mother, how does that relate to what we're talking about right now?
I mean, blowing up. Well,
did you blow up in that situation? Were you beating up both parties? Oh, you.
Yeah, no, my mom, because she's the grandmother, and I'm like, you can't choke your grandchild. You can't do that.
So who was choking who?
No, my mama was taking her. I seen as soon as I got the door open, I seen her hands going up around my daughter's throat, getting ready to close in and choke her out. She already had her hands on her throat.
I need somebody to rewind this, because it's when you first called and you said your 16-year-old was choking your mama.
Huh? No. I said they were fighting. I said both of them were fighting. And my mother, my daughter was fighting my mom. She was punching her, swinging at her. And so my mom's going, you're going to swing at me. I'm going to choke you. We're going to fight. But you can't do that. And that's what I said. I've seen all these different ways. I've been to the Kirk Franklin at one point.
Okay, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate your point of view. Thank you. What's your name in the comments?
It's Terry. It says Baby Doll. I think it's Terry.
Okay.
Baby Doll.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Terry Baby Doll. Listen. All right. I need somebody to rewind for me and tell me in the beginning of that call, did this young lady say that her daughter was choking her mother? Because I know what I heard. And because it sounded just like that meme. Remember the meme that they had going around on the internet? What would you do if you walked in and your 16-year-old was slapping your mama or something like that, or choking your mama? Okay, so Lee Harvey, you went back and said she did? Okay. Why? Look, listen. So, okay, you see what I'm saying? People, y'all try to make me lose it and start. Go ahead, Kirk Franklin and y'all. All right, welcome on the phone lines. What's your name?
Oh, this is Rashonda again.
When did you call in, Rashonda?
I was the one talking about the PlayStation raising the kids.
Oh, and then you hung up. Say your one last thing so we could get the next caller. Oh, actually, we're done for the day. So one last thing. Go ahead.
I think we need to, before, this goes back to the Michaela Pink thing, what people don't realize is we need to stop putting so much weight on what people present to us in our face and take a side to it, because we don't know these people or nothing that's going on.
Okay, that's true. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to get out of here around the 1 hour mark. So I'm going to take one last caller in. Listen, people playing on my phone today. So Kate Caccia went back and said, yes, she did. She said her daughter was choking her mom. See, this is what I'm saying. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name? You're the last caller too. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. So what is your comment today? Are you going to troll us? Because we're not in the mood.
No, of course not, Tanya.
Okay, go ahead, Nicole. Because people calling in with jokes now. First, the mother was choking, the daughter was choking, everybody's choking. It was like the pelican with the frog. They were both choking each other. All right. All right, go ahead.
So I wanted to give a different perspective on your topic today.
Okay.
I don't have any children, but I am married. My husband and I are working on creating children right now. And the perspective I wanted to give is growing up as a child, what I just heard Kirk Franklin saying to his son is something that I've heard basically every day in my household growing up from either my father or my mother.
So your parents were calling you names and cussing you out?
Yes, and then couple that in with watching, domestic violence and everything else. It's when I first heard the video from Kirk Franklin, I immediately thought, well, this is normal. What's wrong with this? This is what, how parents talk to their children. And that really reiterated the fact that I need to be in therapy prior to even creating children of my own. So I have just started recently, about 2 weeks ago, entering into therapy. And
wow.
It's, you have to first be prepared to have children, but you have to cut those generational ties prior to that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to bring that into how you're parenting your children. It just continues. The cycle continues. So it's a process.
Oh, wow. So you know what? That's really interesting. So you're saying when you heard it, you were like, what's the matter with it? You were like, this is the way parents speak.
Yes, and then I had to really take a step back and say, well, this isn't right. This isn't healthy. And in fact, this is what I've heard my entire childhood.
So was it other people's response that made you feel that this was not healthy, or were you like, or did you hear it?
Just,
really?
Reiterating things that I've heard, word for word.
No, but I want to know where did the "this is not right" come from? Did you see other people's response to it, them saying it's not right, or did something click for you out of the blue?
Yes, something definitely clicked for me, because I felt that same hurt that I felt from hearing things like this as a child, and then it made me immediately stop and take a step back and just really reflect on myself and my own background.
Okay, so quick question, Nicole. When you were a child and your parents would curse you out, it hurt you?
Yes.
Did it stop hurting after a while, or did it hurt each time?
No, my mother has since passed on about 5 years ago, and it still hurts.
Okay, so it hurt you each time, so you never got used to it?
No, it accumulates over time, over the years, and it just...
Okay.
Even now, I'm getting emotional.
Oh, okay. Got you. Feel free to let it out. This is a safe space. And so you heard Kirk Franklin speaking to his child that way, and your first thought was, what's the matter with this? This is normal. And when did that thought shift for you?
Immediately when I started feeling those same emotions come back, as if, he's speaking to me, because a lot of the words that he was speaking were the exact words that I've heard as a child.
Okay. Listen, everybody send Nicole some hugs. Send her some hugs and some loving energy out there into the air. So Nicole, you have our support and our love. I'm glad that you have started taking therapy. Have you found yourself talking to your husband that way when you get upset?
I have, but I'm learning to, take a step back, take a breather, walk away, and just take some time out for myself. I put myself in time out, so to speak.
Okay. And so you've been in therapy now for a few weeks. So listen, all I'm going to say to you about therapy is you get out what you put in. Dive fully deep, open up, and roll up your sleeves and get to the bottom of it, because there is healing after therapy. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you were our last call, because you definitely gave us a different perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. And I love your show.
I love you too, Nicole. Everybody send some love out to all of the ladies who called in. And because we've been at varied degrees during this broadcast from one spectrum to another. And so I appreciate all of you who have had the courage to come out and call in. This was a very deep show. And our last caller really exemplifies for us how some things are just so brutal that you never get used to it. I can imagine that there's some people who do get used to it, and then they're like, they perpetuate it because they think that it's normal. And perhaps some of the parents who are out there cussing their children out, it's normal for them because they were cussed out. But when do we break the cycle? From what it is that I heard from Kirk Franklin, I did not approve. I understand that he apologized. Like I said, is this a one-time thing? And is he willing to do the actions to get himself the help that he needs to not lose his temper like that? Or is this an ongoing thing in a relationship that exists between his son where this is the dynamic? Listen, thank you all so much for calling in. There's so much more here that we can discuss because this is deep. It's deep and it runs deep. And there are many of us who that is normal. That is normal for us. And we perpetuate that forward. This is why I suggest therapy for all of us. And also, I mean, so there were some things like I used to think corporal punishment was normal until I branched outside of my immediate area and saw that there were other people who did things in a different way. This is why I think it's important for people. This is why I believe in intercultural relationships. This is why I believe in entering into areas with people of different cultures, why I believe in traveling and going into different countries, because there are just some things you get used to things being a certain way. And there has got to be that where you're like, oh, no, things can be different. Because I remember when I was, right when I was starting TKO Skin, you remember the drama around how I left that place with that man who felt that he was going to be verbally abusive towards me, my roommate. And then I went into that other situation where there were bed bugs, right? And I had never had bed bugs before. This was not something that was normal to me. However, there were people who were in the building that I was living in who were from Europe and different places. And they were just like, oh, it is what it is. And they had the bite marks all over them. And I was like, no, I'm a queen. I cannot have these bugs sucking the queen's blood. No, my blood is precious. You cannot have the queen's blood. And I shut that down I shut it down immediately. I left, broke lease and everything. I didn't care. And I had invested a lot into moving into Manhattan, but I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so it's like, there's some things that you grow up with that you think are normal, but then you enter into another situation and you realize this is not normal. So I implore all of us to question what it is that we have come to learn as normal. I know some people who have grown up with rodents in their home, and they have become accustomed to the rodents running roughshod through their homes. And there are exterminators out there who were created for just that very purpose. But if you don't take the time to shift and realize this is not normal, you don't have to live this way. Other people with roaches as well. Just listen. And some of you know, because we got into an argument earlier this morning with a man on my broadcast whose home you could see the roach footprints all over the place. And you get used to it. Oh, goodness. Listen, some of you are saying, no way, oh me, oh my, absolutely. And so it's like, we've got to branch out, because I'm telling you, and you know what, I'll say this, right? When I lived in my car, I met a person who said that I could crash at their place for a weekend or whatnot, right? And when I went to their place, this person in the California desert heat got up and went jogging in the heat, right? They came back in and was doing pull-ups on this bar and was like, all of this sweat and stuff was dripping everywhere. And I was like, it had never occurred to me. Listen, it had never occurred to me that you could go running in the desert heat. Because it never occurred to me. It never occurred to me that perhaps I'm not working out hard enough. Because the way that we do things are normal. And I implore all of us to branch outside of our normal thinking, the way that we cook. Like my mother, when she made macaroni and cheese, she would cut the macaroni, she would cut the cheese into cubes and put the cubes inside the macaroni and then bake it that way. I found out that if you take pet milk and take the cubes and put it inside of a pot and stir it, that the cheese melts down and it becomes really nice. And so what I'm saying is the way that we cook, the way that we talk, the way that we clean, the way that we drive, the way that we do things, the way that we talk to our children, the way that we talk to our parents, the way that we talk to other people, most of these things are habits that we have been taught. The way we put on our shoes, how we wash in the shower. I read this survey that said that there's a percentage of people that when they take a shower, they stand sideways in the water and the water hits them sideways. There are other people who the water hits them frontwards. Think about it. Which part of your body do you wash first in the shower? Do you wash your arms? Do you wash your legs first? Do you wash your belly first? These are things that we have built up over time, habitual things that we think are normal. How do you put on your socks? How do you put on your pants? There are some people who put on one pant leg and pull it up, and then they put down their other pant leg and they pull it up, and then they put their socks on afterwards. Some people put their socks on first and then pull up their pants. Some people put two legs in the pants. So and it's like, you don't think about these things because it's just normal to you. So that's why I'm happy that Nicole was our last caller, because it really exemplifies, right? And look, so Shark is saying front then back, face first. See what I'm saying? So, oh my Lord, Dina says she washes her pits first and then works down. So listen, this is what I'm saying. We all have these habits, and I implore each one of us to take a look at how we do things. When you go from here, as you navigate through this world, as you talk to people, the way that you see the world, because I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and the ways that we live, even to this day, are results of the programming that we received before the age of 9. And so I implore each one of us to question how we do things and why. This is my book right here, the Book of Affirmation, Self-Love. You see it back there in the background looking so beautiful. And this book will help rewrite your subconscious programming and rewrite your mind for self-love. It changes your whole entire life. Look at the reviews on Amazon. Look at the reviews on my page. You can get this right now on my website if you come to TanyaTKO.com and click on shop, and you can get the book right there. I am autographing all copies that you get from my website. Amazon is having some sort of issue where they are being shown as sold out on Amazon, and because of the pandemic, everything is taking longer to fix, and I'm working on fixing that with Amazon now. I've already submitted a support ticket last week and have not heard back yet. And I don't know if I need to write them again or whatnot, but don't worry, you can get it from my website now. Okay, so listen. LeBouche is saying, book is fab, people. Yes, get the book. And Tanya is saying, how many people have washcloth for different parts of their bodies? You see what I'm saying? How many people don't use a washcloth? How about that? How many people don't use a washcloth? Me personally, I use a loofah. So I'm saying the way that we do things are habitual. So I want to see your comments below. Tell us how you feel about all of this. And I'm glad that we had this conversation. You are making me think, because I feel like there are some things that I can do differently, like working out. And I am thinking about still doing a fitness competition. I'm looking for a personal trainer to train with us in the morning so that we wake up early and get on Zoom or whatever broadcast we do, and we do our workout with our trainers. All right, so listen, on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Tanya TKO, and I am out. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, what? Most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is investigating and seeing what you can do in a different way. Loving yourself is being honest with yourself when something isn't working. Be honest with yourself when something is not working. So on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Tanya TKO, I'm out. Peace.